So here we have peas. They're still flowering here up at the top, but setting seed down at the bottom. But probably not going to get viable. Still green. That's good. What do you think of the oats and peas mix?
So this is the second of 2 plots of oats and peas. We looked at that beautiful one.
That's true.
And oats and peas are probably my favorite of all the ones we've done. Like, we also have tillage radish and clover, but I think that serves a different purpose than this. So I really like the oats and peas. To me, my main evaluation is visual. So there was lots of green material all summer since we planted it. I think the other plot over there is a beautiful, better example. This has had a lot of competition from volunteer canola and corn spraying, and so it was a little bit. But oats and peas, for convenience and for the visual on it, I really like it.
And for cost, they're probably one of the cheaper options.
Is one of the cheaper ones. Again, I don't know how we measure cost on it. I guess when we do another year, we'll see next year what the crop looks like that we plant in this field, and that might help. But again, I just do it because it seems like the right thing to do for soil and the environment. So, and I don't like leaving land bare for any length of time. So, because we also have oats and vetch, I guess, that we'll look at. And I'm a little bit mixed on the vetch just because it is a bit of a weed for us on this farm, like in our strawberries. This field wouldn't likely see strawberries anytime. But, so that's my concern on the vetch side.
Yeah. So there's two different types of, well, there's lots of different types of vetch, but there's tufted vetch, which is typically your weed, and then this is hairy vetch, which is slightly different, but they look very much the same. And the story with hairy vetch is always that there's hard seed, and that's something that I'm always concerned about. But I have never seen hairy vetch volunteer.
Oh, good.
Which is a little bit reassuring.
Yeah.
But also it's hard to tell from tufted vetch. So, I can tell somebody to plant hairy vetch, and then they say, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's tufted vetch.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, because like I said, I've sort of surveyed this from the truck window as we make our way to other parts of this farm, but I haven't walked around with it, and I haven't been over the ground since we seeded, and I ran over it with the mower up high to try and take out some of the canola when it was in flower. We got some of it, but not all of it, obviously. But the intention is next year this is probably going to be corn. So my herbicide for corn inside the corn rows seemed to keep the canola down until after harvest.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about the canola in here for next year.
That's good. Yeah. And the hairy vetch.
I'm not worried about that either.
So here, this is tillage radish and crimson clover.
Yeah.
So we've got a nice tillage radish here, and you can see this is the soil line here. It's the stuff below ground, obviously, that does all the good stuff. So people get excited when they see it poking up, but poking up means it's not poking down. So, but this looks really good. But even of this giant root, it's actually this tiny taproot, which I broke off when I yoinked it up. But that's doing most of your tillage parts. That's breaking up some of your deeper compaction down below. That's a nice looking.
Yeah. So I always thought it was the that upper part, just the size, and the fact that it rots away. It's like plant material aeration.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the lower root is breaking up the deeper compaction.
Yeah. So plant roots can't penetrate something beyond 300 psi.
Okay.
Right, if you think about that plant root trying to drill into concrete, it's not gonna. If it's, it can only exert 300 psi pressure. And then up here it's setting seeds. So these are kind of some scary looking seed pods.
Yeah.
But they're not viable yet. They're still nice and green inside. Ideally, you don't want your tillage radish to go to seed.
So these ones from a plant behind are a bit yellow.
They're a bit yellow.
Is that?
Do you see any black or brown ones in there?
No,
Still
green.
See how squishy that guy is. Oh, he's still good and squishy.
Good.
Yeah, we should be okay. This is one of the problems I sometimes see with like mixes. Is like, you know, one thing might just be starting to get going and another thing is going to seed, you know. But with a crimson clover and tillage radish blend, that could be a late season planting too, in which case your crimson clover wouldn't flower before fall, so it'd be more likely to overwinter.
So this was planted in the very end of June, 1st of July. I think probably Canada Day actually, or the 2nd.
And now we're October 24th.
Yeah, so the tillage radish and crimson clover is something I could plant later.
Yeah. You plant that
August.
First week of August?
Yeah.
After strawberries come off?
After strawberries come off.
This would be a nice mix. Because the tillage radish will soak up a lot of the fertility from leftover from strawberries.
Yeah. It's a little bit smaller.
They're good at freeing up recalcitrant phosphorus too, so for fields that are low in phosphorus,
Yeah.
It can kind of bring that back into the cycle.
Yeah. Because our soil tests are generally high in phos. And I don't think it's available, particularly phosphorus. I don't understand. But that's what they say is like our soils in Newfoundland, they're high in phos, and we keep whacking the phosphorus to them, and that we probably don't need as much as we're adding, but it makes me nervous
To back off on it.
to read the soil analysis and it says this much, and then to not do it, that makes me a little nervous.
Yeah. I've seen soils that are excessive in phosphorus and a phosphorus deficiency still show up in plants.
Yeah.
Because that phosphorus isn't always available.
Right.
Which is why having something like this, like basically the tillage radish accesses that phosphorus, and then as the tillage radish dies, that phosphorus then becomes available to everything else.
So that's another plus for that.
That's another plus for
I
it.
was all excited about the carbon sequestration and nitrogen fixing, and now we have phosphorus releasing.
Cover crops are magical.
So they don't have as much of a root as the Balancia.
The Balancia was very fibrous, and this is more of a taproot. But I'm seeing more nodules on this one than I was on the Balancia.
And there's like you say, it's a more fibrous root, it's more taproot, so we can see them easier.
That's true. That's true. But if you were to plant this in August, so it might not flower before winter, which means it's more likely to overwinter. What zone is this? 5? 4?
4B.
4B?
We're almost 5 now.
So, like, I think crimson clover can withstand up to, like, minus 10 Celsius. Sustained temperatures of minus 10 Celsius.
Oh, okay, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Because usually we get 2 or 3 feet of snow before it gets that cold.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And then we'll get a couple weeks of minus 25, minus 30 in late February, just when we don't want it anymore. So we'll get those couple weeks, but mostly everything's covered over with snow. Most years in this part of Newfoundland, we're covered over with snow before it gets that cold. So it would be a good option.
Yeah, and then it flowers super early, so it might be nice forage for the bees.
For the bees too.
Yeah. And so this is Balancia clover.
Yes.
What do you think of it?
Inherently, I like clover. But for me, again, because of the equipment I have, again, just an old 510 International 21 run seed drill without a grass box on it. The clover was really hard to put on at 5 pounds per acre. I think the clover, as far as nitrogen fixing and everything, was probably superior to anything else we have, but practically, even if I broadcast it on, I don't think I could get that 5 pounds an acre on. It's way thicker than 5 already. So that would be my only thing with the clover is convenience of putting it in. But otherwise, I love it. What's not to like about clover? If I could just find a 4-leaf. So, like in our rye, our biomass is under the ground. Is that fair to say? So with vetch, it's going to be more above?
Your vetch is largely above. It doesn't have a huge root system, but it goes on and on. It can get 7 tons of biomass. Like if it's planted early and it's got something to climb up.
Well, it was in early. It was in June. And
yeah.
Just got the oats to climb up.
It's got the oats and the canola.
And it was a while before. I could see the vetch. And then all of a sudden I was like, "Hey, that's vetch."
That's all vetch.
And yeah, so we mixed that by hand in a bucket. I don't think that came as a mix.
No, that's right.
So.
Oh, but look at that nodulation! Look at that nodulation!
So there, it's a legume, so it's a nitrogen fixer as well.
It's a nitrogen fixer as well. Hang on. Like nice nodulation that shows that it has that relationship with the rhizobia.
And so the nodules are the little white things, obviously.
And that means it's fixing nitrogen for you. So the oats are providing something for the hairy vetch to climb up. But they're also changing the carbon to nitrogen ratio of the cover crop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Like if you look at that vetch, that is like lush, that is green, that is going to be gone in a heartbeat. Those microbes are going to break that down so fast and the nitrogen's just going to go off.
Yeah.
But with the oats in there, that's nice and carbonous. So like the seed to N ratio of the oats is like 100 to 1, and of the hairy vetch it's like 20 to 1. And so you mix it together, it's closer to 50 or 60 to 1. And so then all of a sudden it's delaying that flush of nitrogen from the decomposition of that cover crop. Right. Maybe timed neatly with whatever cash crop is going in.
Yeah, which should be corn.
Which should be corn,
I think.
And this is like this is about 100 pounds of N right here.
Per acre.
Per acre. Money in the bank.
Oh, this is cool.